Welcome, everybody. It is Saturday, January 30th, match day 21 in the English Premier League. This is the Richmond Gooners podcast. We are coming to you shortly after the game from Gus's Bar and Grill here in very chilly Richmond, Virginia today. I am Ryan. I am here with Tom.
What's up, everybody?
And we are here with Will today.
Hello, everyone.
And we are going over the home tie to Man United. We're going for the double over them in the league, which, to your point, Will, hasn't happened since 2007.
Correct.
Sadly, it did not turn out that way. But all things considered, honestly, it was a positive game. We did some good stuff, and we look good overall. Start of the day, 9th place, top half of the table. We shouldn't be excited about that because we're Arsenal, and yet this year we need to be excited about that now, right?
Yeah, considering where we were a month or two ago, where losing to Burnley at home, losing to teams that we hadn't lost against in decades. It was just, we had the gallows humor. We're going, well, I can't wait for Grimsby away. I can't wait for Scunthorpe United away.
Right.
Yep.
All these towns that sound like something out of a Game of Thrones episode. So to go up against a team that was leading the league just a few days ago.
And they're still second.
Right.
Yep.
And I was convinced after the first 10 minutes that Ole was playing for the point. I didn't think United really came to play. I mean, they had their chances. Edison Cavani blew a gilt-edged chance, two of them even.
Yeah.
But I, obviously biased. I thought we were the better team overall.
Oh, absolutely.
We should have
I
scored.
agree.
Pepe had an amazing game, possibly as good a game as you can have without scoring a goal. That was the one thing that kept him short. So
I
we
agree
did good.
completely. Yeah, I really do agree with everything you just said, mainly because when you look at it, we came out guns blazing, ready to go. We were definitely the team that was looking for that goal, looking for those 3 points. And did Man U have their chances? Absolutely. They had their chances. But in regards to not only their starting lineup, but just how overall their structure was throughout the game, I really agree with you that I think they were playing for that point. And it probably is because they came off that really bad loss against Sheffield United.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to your point about the lineup, I saw our lineup come out, and we knew Aubameyang wasn't going to play because of all the stuff that he's been going through. We understand that. And Tierney being a game time, I was really hoping he was going to be out there. He's a game changer for us, but he wasn't. You get that. Saka was a surprise to me. I didn't know he'd picked up a knock.
I hadn't heard that either, yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's got a sore hip, and we're being precautionary. And you just hate to see that for somebody his age, because it's just like, you got a sore hip. Like, what? You run and you kick.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's a little bit worrisome. But honestly, like, given those three not even being in the team, a point is not what we wanted. It's probably not what we deserved. But honestly, like, I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
And that's a fair point because without those three, Rob was making that point outside that if 3 months ago someone had offered a point against Man United with those three out, no Aubameyang, no Bukayo Saka, no Kieran Tierney, Cedric Suarez, and I have to admit, I'm gonna admit I'm one of his biggest detractors, but I thought Suarez was really good today.
Yeah.
He's made that side his own. He's good going forward. He defended well.
He did not deserve that yellow card at all.
No,
not at all.
I thought, this goes without saying, Michael Oliver left a lot to be desired today.
Yeah.
What was it? It was the 15th minute or so, and Fernandez flopped in the box.
No yellow.
And
Rashford in the 7th minute the Russian judge at the Olympics would give him a favorable number on that dive.
Absolutely.
It was out of control.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Fernandez. I think he's a penalty merchant. He had a good shot on goal today where he did a drag back and a quick one that went over the far right corner, but.
And that quick kick on the free kick, too, that David Luiz also had away.
Because I was thinking of 2 weekends ago, I forgot what team it was, and he banged one in. I thought he's going to do it again. It's going to be just the same thing. And we were lucky. We got out of jail a handful of times there.
Yeah,
but so did they.
Yeah, agreed. Harry Maguire murdered
Slabhead.
Lacazette the entire
multiple
game.
times.
Yeah. Someone said today, Slabhead had 3 yellow cards today.
Absolutely.
Textbook.
Yeah.
His move is he likes to put both hands on somebody's chest and then shove them to the ground.
Yep.
Or in this case, neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
clothesline 20 yards away from the goals.
Yeah, and just it's no big deal, and you go like, well, but but that's what he's going to do. But to kind of wrap up the lineup stuff, it was good to see Partey starting, good to see Martinelli starting, even though ultimately he didn't finish the game.
Right.
That's in and of itself an encouraging thing. Kind of the guys that we knew we were going to be counting on, they are making their way back to playing.
Martinelli had some great defensive work today.
Yes.
We always
He-
talk about how he
he-
gets
I-
forward, but yeah, his work rate coming back made some key intercepting passes, and just it's a revelation because I think for a long time a lot of our players, and even today, one if not two players, wide players, were not coming back. Especially Pepe at minute 70. I think he had just run out of
gas.
energy.
Yeah.
But Martinelli is not only is a joy to watch when he's on the ball, but even he loves to run and get involved, and it's infectious. All of our young players, you love
exactly.
to see that.
And the point I made to Ryan too was honestly my first half man of the match was Martinelli. The chances he created offensively, the defensive work that he did as a winger was phenomenal. Especially off of that cross that he was wide open Rashford there on the right side, and he comes in at the last second and heads the ball clear for a corner. I mean, if he doesn't come back and track that down, Rashford's probably scoring there.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, Tom, I mean, it is infectious. And we talked about this on our dry run that we didn't end up publishing, but Lacazette had appeared to have lost a step for the first, 15 games of the season.
Yeah.
And was just, I mean, I don't want to say being lazy out there, but he just was not, I've always thought of Lacazette as that guy that will run around and get in positions and, like, demand the ball kind of thing.
Sure.
And he hadn't been doing that, and Martinelli got out there and is just, obviously just, happy to be out there and running his butt off. And Lacazette, it seems to me anyway, has seen that and been like, oh man, I got to get back to doing that.
Yes, lead
And
by
it's-
example.
Right. And like it's just ironic that, like, the older players that we brought in to be the examples for the young kids, it is going the other direction.
I don't know if we were going to go there yet, but yeah.
I don't want to spend this entire podcast ragging on William. We'll have a couple moments, but
All right.
it's such low hanging fruit. I don't want to go there.
That could be
Yeah.
a 4-hour podcast.
It could truly be. It could be the entire. It could every week. It could be what did William do this week? But
Exactly.
But no, I mean, like, the kids have set the stage for the older players and reminded them, hey, this is how it's supposed to feel like
Right.
to play soccer and to love it.
I think some of the older players, because they come from other teams, they get kind of stuck in their ways.
Right.
Whereas, who knows? But I would like to think that the younger players on the training ground or in the dressing room are saying, this is Arsenal, Mr. He who shall not be named that came from Chelsea. But we don't walk up and down, Arteta's going to be here. You might be used to managers that are not going to be here in a week, but our young players have this work ethic. Not only the work ethic, but also they've finally brought back what I would call Arsenal football.
Yeah.
Because Wenger, we want to win, but we want to win with style. We want to win with flair. We don't want a Mourinho ball. We don't want to do what United did today. It's just not interesting. And yeah, we played really well with that style, even without Saka. That's kind of shocking.
Exactly.
Because Saka is arguably the epitome of Wenger ball.
Absolutely.
I mean, he is, but so is Emile Smith-Rowe.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
when he went off, I like to see Odegaard get on, and you understand you're not going to sub off a sub. And also, like, ESR, like, he had a couple of games where he wore himself out, so you don't want to run him 90 necessarily just to do it.
Right.
But production.
But production-wise, like, he especially with Martinelli already off, Smith-Rowe is the engine that makes us move at that point.
Right.
And you hate to see him go off. And eventually he'll get to that point where it's, it's not even a consideration, but...
And
in
then
3 days, we go again.
Exactly.
Right.
And I forget about that. Like, we're kind of just past the fixture congestion of the festive fixtures, and you figure, oh, we're back into the normal schedule, but also you forget, or I forget anyway, that, like, this is COVID and everything is jammed in and we're playing every, like, 3, 4, 5 days.
Because Europa League.
Right,
Yeah.
and Europa
Champions
as well.
League, those two are coming
Yeah.
in with games coming up.
Because not only, Europa League's coming back and the league is already announced. I think, I forget who it is. It's Leicester. We're playing Leicester at 7 a.m. on a Sunday here.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
And,
that is highly unfortunate.
Yeah. Thursdays give us Sundays.
Maybe I'll get to
Yeah.
bed before 3 a.m.
I mean, that would be a goal to aspire to. Speaking of goals, there are none to run down in this game, as seeing as it ended in a 0-0 draw. But there was certainly plenty of action. And as far as 0-0 games go, I feel like this is one of the more interesting ones to watch.
Yeah. In particular, that first half when Pepe did his dribble from that flank and murdered two of their players, particularly McTominay. I would love to see. I'm sure it's on Twitter already, but when he shook him. I mean, McTominay, he wound up on the ground on his knees doing this which way did he go, and then placed a really, really good pass. Unfortunately, it was just millimeters away from Lacazette.
Yep.
It was a very, very difficult shot.
There's no guarantee it's going in, but just the effort to get it there.
If that had resulted in a goal, we probably would have put it up there with the Jack Wilshere Norwich goal.
Yep.
It would be,
well, and then,
where were you when that goal happened?
And then you also had Martinelli's play off in the left corner, coming back down the side, cuts back into the middle. Beautiful cross towards Lacazette, and it just kept curling away from Laka, and he couldn't get a foot on it. So it goes out for a goal kick.
And the thing for me on that is, like, Martinelli, like, my first thought was he just buried himself in the corner. There's nothing going to happen here. And then all of a sudden, everything just turns around, and like we're in a goal-scoring situation. You know?
Do we think? Did anyone? People like I guess I was going to use a rhetorical question, but has Pepe played so well in the last 2 games that he is now solidified that he can't be subbed? So when Saka comes back, do we keep Pepe where he is?
I think it draws an interesting question.
He should have scored. I mean,
he should have.
You look at Pepe's results today. I think he deserves a start, and also he should have scored. I don't know if Saka's better than him, but is Martinelli better than him? Willian definitely isn't.
No.
I mean, Martinelli and Pepe to me are 2 different guys.
Correct. Yeah, true.
You know, for me, Pepe's greatest value is in that situation where he did like the triple step over and just like laid waste to a dude.
Yeah.
Martinelli for me is a guy who will run past 3 of your defenders, get in deep, kind of take the top off the defense a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I don't know how like the formation allows both those dudes to do what they do, but like I don't know that they're necessarily a 1-for-1. It's one or the other.
I was happy with Pepe today more than anything because I remember reading early when we got him that somebody that's Lille, is that where he came from?
Pepe, I
think it was Lille.
so.
Yeah. So what I read, I think it was, I don't know. But what this guy that's an expert, we all know Twitter's full of experts, but that counterattacking is his preferred method of football. Kind of like Aubameyang. Aubameyang loves counterattacking, getting that ball on the left and cutting towards the right, that curling shot. And I think Pepe, similarly, he's better when we're counterattacking, when we're doing that slow build
and the crosses.
Just kind of like working the ball around at the top and sideways passes, and then the ball comes to Pepe. You just go, all right, he's going to wait for 2 defenders to drop in on him. He's going to dribble his way out of it. And today he wasn't doing a whole lot of that.
He wasn't. And to go back to your question, too, about, does he deserve that start in the next game? I say yes.
Okay.
2 reasons. One, his recent form has been fantastic. He's been arguably one of the best players consistently wise, game in and game out when he's been in. But the other reason, too, is under Arteta, he hasn't started more than 5 games in a row.
True.
It's really hard for a player to be in really good form if they don't even are given the time to get to said good form. No professional player can get in great form in less than 5 games.
Yeah, and like part of that is because Willian got all those starts at the start of the year.
Right.
And we're getting to that point where I think pretty much everyone, and again, not to make this a rag on Willian podcast because that was last week, but it's obvious he's not going to be that guy. And so you give Pepe that spot and, see what he can do in 4, 5, 6 starts in a row.
Yep.
I mean, to me, Saka has to start.
I
Saka
agree.
is. I mean, I feel like he's probably our best. He's got the highest ceiling. That's not true. Martinelli has the highest ceiling.
Really? I think Saka does.
I think Martinelli does.
Really?
I think I mean, like the Ronaldo light comparison has been drawn with Martinelli.
Sure.
I mean, Saka, but Saka, I mean, like he's already. I think right now Saka's ahead of Martinelli in as far as his development.
Absolutely.
And like how ready he is to produce in the Premier League.
Okay, now I understand your point.
Yeah, and so
but
like
total ceiling.
Yeah, total like long-term ceiling. I think Martinelli is potentially got a little bit more, but like Saka right now is at the point where like.
He's our best player.
He might be our best player, and he also is one of our highest energy players, which is a rare thing.
Right.
Like you have guys that are like the analogy I was drawing is like a hockey analogy. Like you have dudes in the 3rd and 4th line that are like your energy guys and your checking line guys, but they're not your most skilled players. The grinders, right? And then you have dudes in your 1st line and your 2nd line that are snipers and poachers. Well, somehow Saka is both of those things to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to youth and a testament to who he is. But like if he's healthy, he's got to be out there.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with it is Arteta is now approaching a problem. It's a good problem because you have so many options to choose from, but it is a problem on who am I going to start right now.
Right. Which is, and you're right, it's a good problem. It's a problem we haven't had for a while, Because, I mean, how many years in a row have we just had such devastating injury issues that it's like, well, this is the lineup we got, and we know we're not, like.
Right. I'm reminded of the 8-2 against Man United
right.
10 years ago, which we watched right here in this pub, and it was when this is before Twitter was really big, before the internet was as loaded with info as it is now. And I remember seeing Coquelin come out, and I had to Google him. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
He wore number 38 or 39. I forget. Maybe it was 34, but it was just. See,
34,
I almost.
I think, yeah.
As we're talking about wide left, I mean, what happens now when Alba comes back?
Right.
Does Lacazette sit? Alba is our captain. Alba is arguably the best scorer. I mean, if Saka's the best overall player, Alba's the best scorer.
Yeah.
And he
No,
needs
he is.
he needs to play. And yeah, it makes me wonder when all those guys come back, if we're at 100% strength, are we going to see what we saw? Even I'm still kind of curious. Partey definitely is a starter every day of the week
Absolutely.
for me. But,
Sure.
But Xhaka, I don't know. I'm still,
Xhaka with Partey
I
is a
think-
completely different Xhaka.
I think he is. That's exactly right. We were
He did
talking about
work really
last week,
hard
like
today.
Xhaka and El Neni never should be on the pitch at
No,
the same time. They're the
never.
same freaking person.
Yeah.
But you get Partey and Xhaka out there, and I think it's. I want to say Joey made that point. Like, he was not brought in to replace Xhaka. He was brought in to play next to Xhaka and let Xhaka kind of lay a little deeper and do what he does, and bring stuff forward. And, like, to your point during the game, Partey's value beyond what he actually does on the ball. I mean, there was a situation where United was I don't want to say on the break, but attacking aggressively.
Yep.
And David Luiz was kind of floating in space, and Partey's like, no, you've got that man. I'm going to be over here. Like, he's talking to him, he's directing him, and he's affecting other players in a way beyond that is just like, this is what we're here to do. Like, he is out there directing traffic and improving other guys.
And I think that's why Xhaka ends up playing so well with Partey on the field, is because when Partey's not on, Xhaka has to try to take on that defensive role. And, Joey, and I agree with him, has said it so many times, he is not a central defensive midfielder.
Right.
That's not what his role is. That's never what Xhaka has been. But for some reason, with Arsenal, that's what so many people see him as. And now that when Partey's on the field, Xhaka can actually just be who he is as a natural midfielder. And it just allows Xhaka to just be a little bit more relaxed.
Well, I'm the king of Xhaka hater, so I'm going to bring up how he ran all the way to the front of the attack. And he's the first, he's all the way at the tip of the attack, and he went for the back pass. To me, that's unforgivable. I will never be a Xhaka fan. And that right there, summarize it to me, is...
See, I think with that, though, like...
It's him and the goalkeeper, and he back passed it. Or he laid it off. I don't care if you're a central defender or whatever you are.
You take that shot.
You have to shoot the ball.
Yeah, but some of
have
that,
to shoot.
you got to remember, though, some of that is he's still building back up the confidence offensively. So it could just be he's got a low confidence right now in his ability to score.
I don't know. I just think it's in his nature.
That's fair.
That's just who he is.
I'd probably agree with Tom on that one. Like, he has never been, like, outside of the free kick from 25, 30 yards away.
Beauty.
It's never been, he's good for 2 of those a year.
Right.
The old Xhaka boom, they're there. But no, his first instinct is never to put it on net. That is true.
The team does not, for years we've suffered, our midfielders don't score. And then Xhaka, I think Orbinho had a stat. I mean, he always has stats, obviously, but
Right.
Xhaka has the goals to his name since he's been an Arsenal player. It's almost shocking that, wow, he just doesn't score goals. But on the other hand,
But he plays great still. Even though he's not scoring goals, he still does play great when he's on.
And I think that's part of it is like, once... to your point, he sprints forward and then doesn't shoot it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe
why are you going forward then?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, agreed.
Don't do that. Lay a little deeper. Be that playmaking midfielder, and let the other guys do their thing. Like, I think that might be a thing as whatever ends up being our primary lineup. Starts to play together more. They might get a little more comfortable doing that together.
To quote the Atlanta Poets Outcast, don't pull your thing out unless you plan to bang. And don't run to the front of the attack. If
If you're not going to shoot,
That's
no,
fair.
That's true.
Yes,
That's
don't,
I mean, that's a
don't
good
get
point.
up there.
Yeah.
Because, yes, there is such thing as a false nine that you get all the way to the front of the attack to lay it off, but not on a counterattack.
No. Like, well, and like, part of that too is that just we have not been a counterattacking team all since Arteta got here.
Unless
and like,
Martinelli's on the pitch.
right? Yeah, well, that's fair. So like, maybe that's just also like kind of getting accustomed to what it's like to play that way, and maybe he'll. I have. Here's the thing: Xhaka, when he got to us, was a red card machine. He was a loose cannon, and he was what was the word I heard was $1 million leg and a 10 pence head.
Huh.
And he figured that out. Like he has evolved beyond that. I believe in him to evolve beyond the situation that he's in now. And apparently, I'm being given a shot of. Oh God, this is a Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
It's like an Ian Bloody Mary.
Flavored vodka and habanero honey.
So I've been given breakfast alcohol at what is now 3 p.m.
3:07.
We need your honest assessment.
Win or lose, run the booze.
All right. So here's the thing. It smelled. Ooh, it's.
So I'll fill some of the space. I thought David Luiz was really, really good today.
I agree.
If we're going to do man of the match stuff, I'm going to give it to him. I thought, because here's, United are better at heading the ball than us, and they always have been. Because you look at guys like Maguire, that goal he had against Sheffield United, that he didn't even jump. I mean,
he was just
Maguire's
there.
one of those guys, if he jumps as high as you can't get a newspaper under him.
Correct.
And to win the headers that he won today, Luiz is normally a really, really great aerial duel guy.
Yep. Rob had a quiet but really successful
he didn't screw
aerial
up.
game
No
too.
one really screwed up. They're really because
Right.
now and again there are matches and I'm still coming around on Suarez because there are matches, say for instance when my guy Mainsley against Palace, it was just awful, especially that back pass that went for a corner where you could just, not only did he lose confidence, everyone lost confidence in him, and no one really did that today. There was really no one other than he shall not be named that came in at halftime. Where you go, he just had a mare, and
That's true.
Well, and Cedric too. I think Cedric had another good game. I think he dropped off a little bit from what he did over the week.
Right.
Because the game that he had on Tuesday, was phenomenal.
Right.
I mean,
Good
he was
crosses.
arguably our best player in the game.
Because a lot of Southampton fans, I saw them on Twitter responding to Arsenal's feed saying that he never put in crosses like that for us. And then now he's come to Arsenal, and it's kind of odd, obviously, because to be a left-sided player, he does this move where he cuts into the middle and then crosses it with the right. It's a predictable move, but he was making it work.
Yeah, it worked really well on Tuesday, and again, I think he had a good game today, but he did drop off a little bit, at least on the offensive side. Some of his passes weren't as crisp, and that's expected. But he defended really well still.
Well, there's no question that when healthy, Kieran Tierney is our starting left back. I mean, there's no. I mean, Suarez is a very able second guy in the lineup, but Tierney is by far the guy that you want out there because of what he does offensively, defensively, everything else.
But the question gets brought up when KT is back. Does Cedric go to the right?
No.
Hector
Bellerin
takes
to
it?
me still.
Because some of the talk I've been seeing is that's what people have been debating.
I don't understand the Bellerin hate.
It's
I don't
either.
It's recency bias.
Yeah.
It's, for instance, I forgot who tweeted the other day. They said, who's our all-time best number 7? And luckily, Robert Pires won. I voted for Rocastle. But it had Liam Brady and then Alexis, and I thought they're all going to vote for Alexis.
Alexis,
because he's the only one they know. But so this idea of, okay, Suarez has had some good games, but I've done this. If you're really going to say Suarez is our best guy, if we go into a cup final tomorrow, if we go against Tottenham away tomorrow, you're really going to put Suarez in ahead of Bellerin? I wouldn't.
No, absolutely not.
And Bellerin was one today that he did his typical going down the middle Barcelona great vision, and I love him for that. And he was doing that. He's got more than Suarez. I think Suarez is an adequate role player.
Yep.
He's not terrible. I think he's still got one or two stinkers in him. I don't know. There's something about
Bellerin.
I'm stealing this one. Sorry, I'm stealing this one. But somebody on Twitter called him. He looks like a 1950s fighter pilot, and that's what he looks like. He just
flying the old F4 Phantoms out there.
Well, F-86, I think, was in the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that Bellerin, especially on the offensive side of the ball, can do more.
Yeah.
He can do different things.
When he gets the ball and goes down the middle, I get excited because he makes great choices.
Right.
Yeah, and I might put him. I mean, we talked about this before we started rolling. Like, he might be the runner-up to David Luiz for man of the match for me.
Oh,
like he
is my man of the match. I already said that too.
Yeah.
Hector's my man of the match.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just he might not have done anything spectacular, but at the same time, like, he did everything that was asked of him, and he held down a dangerous left side for Man United, and nothing came of that. And like that's not nothing.
Yeah,
I struggle using the word dangerous with Man United.
I mean,
There's
yes.
no player on that pitch other than Paul Pogba that I say that's a guy I worry about. And Pogba's a guy that
He was barely even there today.
right. He's cruising, man.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
just seeing out his time until
Agreed.
he's going
wants
to go
out.
back to the
Yeah,
continent.
he wants out.
Because when he gets the ball and he's in the mood, he's as good as anybody in the central midfield. Because when you watch him for France, he's unreal. He's unstoppable.
Yeah.
He's almost like a prime Vieira. And then today, he did a couple of things, but really, it's an odd one because he's indispensable for them. But if he doesn't play well, I mean, who are you going to put in? Because some of the other guys they have,
Yeah.
I'm not convinced by either.
Well, we were talking before the game, looking at betting lines and whatever. Who's the first goal scorer? I put money on Cavani, and he was
I put
out
money
there.
on Lacazette.
Yeah, and he was.
Cavani missed some easy ones.
Lacazette
and he
hit the
did.
crossbar.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Like Cavani was in position. He had chances, and he just I mean, he looks like he's 50. I know he's not.
Yeah.
But he was playing like he was almost 50 today.
Yeah, I mean, he had really, I don't want to say, I guess I'll retract my earlier statement, easy, but someone of his stature, his capability needs to bury those.
Yeah.
Because they're going to watch that later and go, you had one, it all happens in the blink of an eye, but you need to bury those. And
Yeah.
I would say that's kind of unforgivable. Although United, on the other hand, they're so desperate for a striker, they got Edinson Cavani.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But, just kind of looking over kind of some of the we talk about him all the time, but Baron Leno today,
Yeah.
I mean, the 20th minute, I had to watch that replay 2 or 3 times to see if he actually got a finger on it, and he got
didn't.
like the tip
Oh, did he?
of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the
Okay.
tip of his middle
the very
finger
fingertip.
just barely redirects that thing.
If he clipped his nails this morning, he wouldn't have saved it.
Exactly. I mean, good on him for having like
We have to brace ourselves for the day that Bayern Munich shows up with a boatload of money.
and says, "Come on back to the to your homeland."
Because if you're German, you either play for Bayern or you want to play for Bayern.
Right.
That's fair.
Right.
But like beyond that, like the 43rd minute, like right, because I mean we were by far the better team in the first half, but that the last like 6 minutes we were kind of on our back heels, and they were just kind of swarming in our box, and Leno just comes out and just takes up space right in front of the ball, and just disrupts that whole thing. Like I feel like most keepers probably would have been like kind
Staying
of
on
sitting
their
back
line.
a little bit, staying on their
That
line.
sequence where Rashford was just dribbling,
Yeah.
right there. I'm still kind of dumbfounded by it.
You got to give credit, like Ryan said, to Leno because
I guess he
Leno,
wasn't expecting that. Leno came out there and he didn't know
Yeah,
what
and
to
he was
do.
like, "What is this dude doing in my
And
face?
Rashford-
Why is he not on his line?"
Because once Rashford had the ball controlled under his feet, he looked up and saw Leno right in front of his face, and he had no idea what to do.
Yeah, I was like, this was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, so
here.
he had to pull it back and played it back, and I mean that was a fantastic and very heads up play by Leno to say, you know what, he doesn't have control right now. I'm pushing this.
Right, and like you worry about if he like chips it over him or something like that, but he knew because there was just such a cluster of dudes. Like if I just add one more person to this mix, he's not going to expect it, and all of a sudden it's going to fall apart, and it did. Like that was a great instinct play on his part, I think.
All right. Yeah, he doesn't always get man of the match, and I think the French have an expression, no one ever talks about the train that is always on time. So Leno was that dude that he when it comes to player ratings for me, and obviously I'm basing this on the internet where it's more popular to hate on things, but like to me, every player starts with a 10, and if you screw up, you lose points.
Okay.
Whereas a lot of people, I think their thing is you start with a 5 and
You
have to
gotta
work your
earn
way
your
up.
points, yeah.
If you don't make any significant mistakes, to me, you're a 9 or a 10 just for passing go. Leno, every week, you don't see stuff like the Icelandic guy, that shot that he let Mahrez
Runnerson,
score.
yeah.
Yeah, and you go,
Yeah.
it was so bad. We just go, why are you in this league? Why are you on this team? That's not even championship. That is just Sunday
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
Leno every week, fantastic saves, great distribution, a great instinctual shot blocker. Really doesn't have his distribution isn't as good as Martinez was. That's the one thing I think he can work on. On the other hand, it's also kind of like, well, who are you going to boot it to down the field?
Yeah.
'Cause some of our guys just don't do anything when they get the ball. But Leno is a guy week in, week out, has stellar performances, and
Yeah, and I mean
he
it's
goes
also,
overlooked.
Yeah, it's also the behind the scenes thing, right? The stuff that isn't tracked in stats that Leno also does. He is a great communicator. He really is.
Yeah.
His biggest knock, and I think we can all agree, is coming out of his line to play those set pieces, to play those crosses. But he has improved this season on
Yeah.
it. But the things that don't get recorded on the stat sheet, Leno does really well, really, really well.
And that's the thing we've been lacking for a little while.
And it's a relief that we aren't somebody like Chelsea that here's 60 on this keeper and here's 80 on this keeper,
and they're both.
And I don't know how much we spent on Leno, but it was money well spent.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, he was it
Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, from Leverkusen, and there's no way that was
Sorry, Americans. Bayer Leverkusen.
Bayer
sorry,
Lever, yes.
You don't ask Latinos to
Bayer.
say jalapenos, and I'm not going to say it's Bayer Leverkusen.
It is. It truly is. Will is outnumbered by germaphones here.
Oh, okay.
Or I guess Deutsche phones if you want to go that far. But yeah, no, I mean it's for me, especially like flashy goalkeeper purchases just seem destined to fail.
In the last few years, definitely. Unless we're talking about Allison.
Yeah.
Because he came over with a lot of fanfare, and I still don't think he's the best keeper, never was.
But he's done his job, and he won them the league. So, good
in
on
the Champions League over the team with the chicken on the basketball.
But yeah, keeper, like if your keeper is your top transfer target, you've got some issues
problems.
in my mind.
Yeah.
So Leno for me has been, because I was of the mind when Czech was on it, he played well for us, and we got Czech and Ospina, and you go, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Up.
And, yes, but
I never liked Ospina.
I didn't like. No, I'm not saying that Ospina
Good
was
shot
my
stopper,
guy.
but his distribution.
Oh no, he's whenever he got the ball at his feet, everyone just clenched their buttholes.
Well, what was that Europa League game? And I think it was Napoli, and it was a meek, chest-high ball that he pelted towards the halfway line. It went right to one of theirs, and they took 2 moves and scored.
Yeah.
Or almost. They scored.
Yeah.
And it was just. Oh, it wasn't as bad as Runerson, but it was so bad that
his positioning was always terrible.
But my point being that we had established guys that had been doing it for a while, and
for sure.
Mad Jens,
and you could tell that or I felt they were both on their way out, and you knew it. And it's what do we do? I feel like we could not have landed a better next guy than Leno at this point.
As much as we have screwed up our selling, we've done great buying in terms of Leno and Kieran Tierney. And that's one that...
Tierney was the greatest piece of business we've done in 15 years.
25 mil.
I mean, we sold Iwobi for what?
40.
Yeah.
We sold Iwobi for 40.
Greatest sale.
I watched it this morning and thought about that.
Yeah. And then we bought Tierney for so cheap. And you go, I guess,
And the Celts are still bitter about it.
Yeah. And then
because they know they probably should have demanded 50, and it still wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah.
They would have gotten it, too. They would have gotten it.
Somebody would have come calling for that, but they took it, and God bless them for it, and we are all the better for it. And while we're talking about business, I mean, I feel like the window's pretty much closing. There's rumors that we have kind of like a bombshell move coming in the next 3 days. I don't know if I believe that.
Apparently, Aouar was really, really close last time. It just came down. His agent wanted his agent's fee.
Yeah, the agent fee, and we're like, we don't do that here.
Right, and apparently. I don't know. I've heard 2 things. One, that I've been a boyhood Arsenal fan all my life.
I mean, everybody will say that when a team's coming to offer him all this money.
Yeah, I mean, and then the other thing is, and this is what I was afraid of, is if you're good in the French league, you want to go to Madrid or Barca, and I was afraid of that. Even if he came to us, I would still be afraid that if he comes to us and gets 15 goals a year, whatever, 10 assists,
he's gone once his contract is over.
Which. Hopefully we get an Anelka-sized clause in there that, selling on that we get some money out of it. But I feel like Aouar definitely is. He hasn't categorically denied it, so I wouldn't be shocked if he came over. The other names, I'm not sold on Buendia. I'm not crazy about him.
Yeah. I don't know that he's destined to move at this point either.
Well, not right now because. They're top of their league, and
they're fighting for promotion. That is the biggest payday you can get. Why would you sell a guy now?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they would say we want the equivalent of a promotion, and we don't have the players that could generate that kind of a sale. We don't have the kind of players that we could sell to generate a fee to pay for.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
But talking about outgoings though, I have been vocal about the optics of us just basically paying dudes to go away. And, you don't love to see it because you do want to bring in money to buy a new dude. But at the same time, I mean, I will at this point admit that our roster was clogged, the kind of things that caused Saliba to have to go out on loan when we were all excited to get him the last time around.
That is such a mystery. With all the ITKs and journalists that know things, that is probably the one I really want to know what happened.
Yeah,
there.
like what went down.
Because all this talk of he's not ready and his mom this and England doesn't suit him, but then he goes to Nice and gets man of the match in his first or second game.
Second game. The first game was an abject dumpster fire, but the second game he was mad at.
And then now the manager's saying all those things that you say about really, really good players, that he's a leader and he's doing everything he's supposed to do. So it just makes you wonder what is going on that he can't get in and guys like David Luiz get out there.
One of the things I did read up on was that preseason match, because obviously due to COVID we couldn't really have real, true, preseason scrimmages and matches. Apparently the behind closed doors preseason match that we had that he did play in, apparently he looked lost.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently it looked really bad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that kind of put him down on the pecking order for playing. And
so he hasn't earned his way out of it.
Right. And then once, it was unfortunate for him that even when we would have a center back not play well, we'd put in who was ever ahead of him, and then they'd play
Then he got
well.
to U23s. I want to say he got a red card. I want to say he got 2 red cards.
At least one, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not a good look.
Right.
Why
And-
you don't get a red card in a reserve game.
Right.
You just don't.
And Arteta has shown that, he will give you the chance eventually.
Sure.
But you have to build yourself to that chance. And I don't think he ever built himself up to get that chance again in Arteta's mind.
Okay.
And that's why he stayed lower on that pecking order.
Okay.
And that's fair.
I'm a firm believer that people on this squad, if you don't play, it's for footballing reasons.
Agreed.
So I don't think he got left out because of
Something he did outside
like
His
the
mom
scenes.
or whatever. No, not by any means.
and that's an interesting one because I'm not gonna say it.
No, but I guess where I was kind of going with that is like the outgoings, Socrates being paid to walk, Ozil obviously being paid to walk. I mean, all these things were destined to
Cancel
happen.
contracts, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not what you want as business, but given the situation we're in, we needed to trim the roster. It's not the way we wanted to see it happen. I would have liked to get some money for some of these guys, but I feel like at the end of this window, regardless of the financial aspect of it, we are in a better we're better positioned players-wise on the squad than we were when we started.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think what we need to remember is that for us to bring in, we have to get rid first.
Right,
Correct.
And I
because
think,
there's just too many dudes around.
and even though guys like Socrates, you might get $1 million or 2 or 5, but to bring in people, because we're naming our roster again. Because, for instance, when Erdegaard, or how we're supposed to say it,
Odegaard.
Marty, I'm calling him Marty. I'm not even
I was going to say
trying.
Odie, but
That's fair.
because when he got the 11, I was like, wait a second now, that's Torreira's number.
Oh, I never thought Torreira was coming back.
Oh,
So-
no, never.
So to make room for people to come in, we have to get rid, and getting rid, the quickest, easiest way is just cancel contracts.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the accountants have told them that, look, yeah, you don't have the $2 million, $3 million, $5 million coming in, but you are cutting their wages, and most importantly, you're freeing up a slot for someone else to come in.
And
So-
long-term wages is the long-term, financial burden.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that we make a deal to get Mustafi out, because there was a deal.
Liverpool is supposedly interested in him, is what I saw.
If he goes to Liverpool, oh
I don't
my
know why they would
days.
do that. It would make them worse, but hey, go for it.
Well, on the other hand,
they're hurting for CBs. So.
And let's just be honest, the guy, look at his resume. He's a World Cup winner.
Yep.
He's played for good teams, Valencia,
FA Cup
Manchester
winner.
City.
Yeah.
I think, well, yeah,
If you like the
come
offsides
get him.
trap, you want Mustafi.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped doing that thing where he slide tackles. That's his move, his go-to
Yeah,
move. He
yeah.
stopped doing that.
Yep.
But he still
And-
loves to do the whole stop running, lift the arm, and pretend the play's over
Right.
situation. That's the thing that drives me nuts about him.
Or head the ball back towards his keeper, but to the other player.
Yeah, you don't want that. You definitely don't want that.
But I feel like we could get a couple mil for him. And apparently there was a deal for him to go to some Italian club, but he wouldn't go to that club because he used to play for Sampdoria, and that team is Sampdoria's arch rival.
The intertwining threads, they never cease to amaze, honestly.
True.
So yeah, like
They say any port in the storm, and this fool turned down that port.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. It's like, look, you're not playing here, man. Like, somebody wanted you. You probably should have gone there and played with them because they wanted you to play there. And I hesitate to bring up your son, Tom, but Ainsley,
Yeah.
you know, the rumors were to West Brom, but then there's a top 4 side wants him.
Southampton.
And it's just like, if I'm Mainsley, I want to go to West Brom because I will play every single game.
And he apparently really wants to play for England because he's played for England
Yep.
and done well for England.
Yeah.
He's a great defensive player. I think the knock against him is going forward he isn't the best because they put him at left back and then, you know, he's supposed to cross the ball left-footed and sometimes he struggles with that, but he played really well in the FA Cup final, played well in the Community Shield. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he's a great defensive player because when we've played teams like Liverpool, he sticks to guys like Mane
Yes.
and Salah and really,
Yeah.
I don't want to say shuts them down, but he negates them to a great degree.
Well, and he doesn't get shoved off the ball either.
Yeah,
No,
and
Like, for his size, he's pretty strong.
he had an absolute atrocious game against Crystal Palace. I'll concede that.
But everyone did. That game was a dumpster
Yeah,
fire.
it was
Right.
really bad.
So it's unfair that he gets punished for that because I honestly think that when he gets the chance to play again, we'll see. He's a great defender and he's also extremely athletic. So when there are players out there who are extremely fast with the ball, I mean, think about Tottenham, think about Son, think about Kane. When they get the ball, they're the type of players that excel. But Ainsley's the type of guy that can keep up with them step for step and shut them down. And I dare say that I don't know how many other defenders on our squad can do that.
Yeah.
And
I would say
Hector pre-injury could have done that.
Sure,
but I don't know
for
about
sure.
now.
But the fact that if Mainsley is attracting Southampton, you know, so Southampton gave us Suarez, and now we might even get Ryan Bertrand from them. That's just a rumor, but it is interesting to see that they would sell us Suarez, and then on the comeback say, well, how about you send Mainsley our way? And Southampton is a team that for years, no matter who they have, they play positive football. They're not a Burnley, you know, park the bus, Route 11, you know, hoof it into the mixer, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So for Mainsley to go there, that's a team that expects him to be a good passer and be a good decision maker going forward. So I don't know where they are in the table versus us. I mean, naturally we just beat them. If he gets a chance, I think, yeah, he'll go there. He'll play positive attacking football. I would love one of those clauses that we could bring him back instantaneously because heaven forbid if someone like Suarez goes out, that's when we're really in a bind because I think that's when we would be forced to put Saka at left back.
Right.
Which is
And-
a waste of what soccer
Yes.
is.
exactly.
I mean, he actually is good at it.
Right,
He can play there, but it's not what we want him to do.
Because
by
he
any
could
means.
be what Michael Cox brilliantly put last week as the deep-lying quarterback-style fullbacks, which he's written about before. Liverpool, for instance, are a great example of that, how Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold kind of controlled the flow of the game from their positions. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, Saka can do that, but Saka needs to be in that front three.
Yeah.
No, he does. He absolutely does.
That's a fact. He,
'Cause when
whether
he-
for club or country,
Yep.
front three. That's
Because
the
when
place
he
for him.
when he can just basically focus solely on that offensive side of the ball,
Yeah.
it's magical. What
That
comes
is, yeah,
off of
because
it.
that's a great point because he's excellent there, but he still has that thing that so many offensive players do is they don't want to do windows, they don't want to do the dishes, and there are
Yeah.
times defensively at left back where he just switches off because he's just not used to that. That okay,
Yeah.
you need to stick to that guy, and make sure he doesn't whip in across.
Well, and you have to wonder too. It's funny they showed a shot of Gareth Southgate, you know, hanging out in the stands
Right.
near the end of the game, and I wonder how pissed off he was that Saka didn't play today.
Right,
you have to-
because who's he? I guess he's scouting Emil Smith Rowe.
I mean, Smith Rowe for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Apart from Jack Grealish, who is a better English number 10 right now?
yeah.
No one.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going, damn, I dragged ass all the way out here
Well, you
to
gotta-
watch no Saka.
He saw ESR, and ESR, we all love him, and I want to get that Come On Feel the Noise song going for him.
Little quiet riot.
Yep.
Well, Slay did it first, but he was good today, but not great. I mean, he had that
Agreed.
shot on goal. He had that
Yeah.
shot on goal.
Yep.
And also, to his credit, I mean, when I was his age, I was nowhere. So, not
Fair.
only for his age, how well
Same.
he's playing, but also he was pretty much just thrown into the fire. 'Cause,
Oh, yeah.
like they didn't just kind of ease him in. It was
Nah,
like, here you
here you
are, you're
go.
gonna go the
Yeah,
full
it was
route
like, you know what,
at
this-
number 10
Yeah.
for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Emil Smith Rowe, yeah, because it's like we know. Well, all right, we've been trying Willian up here for God knows how long. It's been a dumpster fire. All right, screw it. Go ahead, kid.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. And
Yep.
he has been arguably one of our best, maybe 3 players
Right.
for the last month.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I don't. We've sung his praises. We're all on the same thought pattern here. So I don't know how interesting it would be for people to listen to that.
Yeah,
but
well, so going back to the Saka thing, I think, again, we were all surprised. Everyone was. And then apparently they came out that he had some kind of hip issue.
And it's precautionary.
But I was trying to think back to the Southampton game, and I can't remember anything happening to him in that game.
I mean, stuff goes down in training that we don't hear about,
and, and that's
I
kind of
think it's
where
just
my
general
mind was
wear and
going.
tear.
Yeah.
I think it's
and because he's run like him and Smith Rowe both run a ton.
Yes.
And they're all over the map, and you hate to see it in a game against United, but like if he's getting worn down, and you got to protect one of your best assets.
The goal that Saka had last week.
Yeah.
The amount of effort he put into that, the finish, because that's not an effort that just falls in your lap. That is, he went out there and really, really worked for it.
Yeah.
And when he's out there, he doesn't just cruise along like Pogba does for United.
No.
And I don't even know. I don't want to know, because I'm sure internationals are coming up at any point. And then Bukayo, because when Bukayo was out for England, I want to say he played 90 minutes 2 out of 3 games.
Yes, and then exactly within the span of like a week.
Yeah,
It reminds
and
me that-
Arsenal even asked.
Please don't play him.
Don't do
they
that.
were
They're
like, please limit his minutes.
Sorry,
Because Arsene Wenger obviously had some of the best expressions of all time, but one of my favorites was he didn't like international duty because it's like loaning someone your Lamborghini on a Friday, and then you show up Monday morning and it's in the field, no gas in the tank, and your car's all beat up, and they go, hey man, thanks for letting me borrow the car.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like with Saka, because when there are games where Jack Grealish or somebody is playing, or like all the guys with the hyphenated names that play for Chelsea, run them ragged, please do.
Yeah.
But when Saka's out there, it's like, oh man, because then he's gonna be too tired to play for us.
Yeah.
He is. And that brings us to the point where we are thinking about the next game coming up, which is coming right up on Thursday, the 2nd, with Wolves away at Molineux, and that's
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. I can't read, so there you go. It's even faster, and so hopefully Saka's hip is coming back around, and we can do rotations without falling too far off the map.
And KT's back, hopefully.
And get Tierney back as well. But yeah, that's coming up on Tuesday. Hope y'all can come out and join us here at Gus's Bar and Grill in Richmond, Virginia. I am Ryan. That is Tom.
Up the Gunners.
That is Will.
Yeah, Gunners, yeah.
And we will catch you for the next one. Have a good one, everybody.